wasn't one of the subjects I planned on talking about, but I've seen that CEO of X is stepping down.
Oh, really?
Before
I
we
didn't hear
really
that.
get cranking on. Yeah, some woman. I didn't even know. I forgot he even hired somebody. I thought it was him. I
Oh,
thought
me
he was
too.
the
Yep,
fucking
right.
CEO.
Yeah.
Thought he was stepping down.
But he put her in charge apparently, and she's just had enough. I guess I don't know. There's shit
it-
going on, but just from looking at her, she looks like one of the old crew from Twitter. Not saying she was because he hired her, but she just has
Right.
that look like she might lean a little more
Yeah.
left than Elon does now. So
Nose ring?
she's no, but just a step away.
Just a step away.
Step away from it. Yeah.
Maybe, I mean, I wonder if that's why Grok's been
You seen
hailing
it.
Hitler and shit.
Everybody was like freaking out. Like it was weird because a lot of things it was telling the truth about
Yeah.
when people would question it. On for one, I seen one of the questions was something about the people who commit the most crimes in the country.
Yeah.
And of course, if you're going by the per capita or whatever you call it, I mean it came up with African Americans. Now you can call that whatever you want, but it was numbers, it's statistics, and it was the truth. Well, normally it wouldn't say that, And whatever they were doing with this update yesterday, Gronk was just on it. It was like that AI system was so unbiased. It was crazy. So I don't know what was going on, but people were freaking out over it. What
Yeah,
was it
'cause I
doing
think
with Hitler?
Grok 6 is supposed to be coming out, but it was like down into Jews and shit like that. And like,
it was going crazy.
hailing Hitler, and yeah, it was like full Kanye mode, dude. It was going crazy. That's all I saw. I hopped on X earlier, and that's all I saw.
I wonder if it got hacked
What
somehow.
the fuck is going on with Grok?
I
Could
wonder
be.
if, you know what I mean? If somebody was behind that. I hadn't heard Elon come out and speak on it, so I don't know what was going on, but I just seen everybody kind of going crazy saying that it was just, but then I seen some of the stuff it was saying, and it was like, well, that's normally stuff it would sugarcoat, and it just wasn't sugarcoating shit right now. And that's how it should be. Doesn't
Yeah,
matter if you like the
absolutely.
facts. I mean, the facts are the facts, And it was kind of like the crime stats. I mean, it doesn't matter if you like the answer or not. When you ask who commits the most crimes and it gives you an answer, well, it is what it is. If it spits out the numbers,
Yeah,
But a lot of people don't want to hear that shit. So
yeah.
that's what it is.
But I think Elon's supposed to be revealing number 6, Grok 6 tonight. Like it's some new update that he's putting in, so it's gonna be a whole new updated Grok. So I don't know if it was just like knew it was getting replaced and went off the rails, or I don't know.
Man,
What up, beef?
Beef. We talking about any and everything. We're about to get into this bullshit they're calling these Epstein files, where the case
No.
is closed with Epstein.
Nothing
No files.
happened.
No
Nothing.
files. He unalived himself.
Nothing
Guaranteed.
happened, man.
What's going on with that, Brad? What you think's going on with that nonsense of that administration coming out and just standing by? Nothing crazy was going on, or they actually they have no proof of what was going on. I mean, what you think?
It's kind of interesting, man, when you sit back and you think about it, because they ran on that, that they were going to expose this and bring it to light and deal with it. And it makes you wonder. I mean, I got a couple analogies on it. It makes you wonder, man, did the CIA brief Trump and say, look, honestly, Epstein was a CIA operative, and who we have on there, who do we have? Prince Andrew. That's really probably, well, besides Bill Clinton, but he was one of the ones there, and you bring this to light and you destroy our relationship with the Brits. So it makes you wonder if, look, we all know there's no hiding it. We all know that some bullshit went down, and it's deep. I think it's real deep.
But I don't understand. Do they just have that little bit of respect for the American public that they don't give a fuck what we think when they blatantly lie like they do?
Yeah. But here's my second one that I really think, and I hope it comes true. I really do. But I really think that he brings it out now, or if he brought it out 5 months ago, right? And us Americans, shit happens for a week and we forget, right? It's over with, done with. What if he is holding what he has on Epstein till midterms?
I mean, I guess anything's possible at this point.
Yeah,
it just seems like they would have a better story than what they're doing. At least you would think they would just kind of be putting off, you know what I
Right.
mean, talking
Yeah.
about it for a while. But when they come out and basically say the case is closed, you know, where there
Right.
is no list, you know, there's no way anybody did anything to Epstein while he was in prison, you know,
Yeah.
this, that, and other. And it's not like they're putting off those answers until midterms. Like they are dead
Yes.
set that this is what happened or didn't happen. And basically what are you going to do about it, you know? So it's
Yeah.
kind of like, is it just disrespectful? Like, do they really not care that much about what the American people think when they you know, just go on these kind of,
Yep.
you know, cases or whatever like this, to where they just tell you whatever the fuck they want to say and you're just supposed to deal with it? Because in the end, like, what are we going to do about it? You
Right.
know?
Yeah.
I mean, what are we
Well,
going to do about it?
like I've always said, you know, Trump plays like chess, man. He's always 3 moves ahead. And I still don't think it's a dead issue. I don't know if he's thinking that, you know, I was reading about that with the CIA, you know, Epstein being a CIA op, and, you know, and maybe it's some damning damage, but I still think the American people have a right to know.
Well, I just think it's fucked
And
up
for the
how
victims, you know.
well, I think it's fucked up how they ran on that.
Absolutely.
You know, they ran on, we are going to expose what went on at Epstein Island. We're going to hold people accountable, because Pam Bondi was saying there's tens of thousands of hours of video of children being taken advantage of. Well, who was doing it? Who were the ones on these videos?
No, Steve, Trump was not on Epstein Island. That would have been brought out before the election, I promise you. So no,
yeah, that is one thing. A lot of people say that, and I'm with you. Look, I don't put it past, like, because Trump was in that crowd. He was a billionaire, you know, and I'm not saying in a crowd of doing, you know, shit like that with kids.
Right.
But I'm saying he could have visited the island. A lot of people did.
Yes,
but I think if there
absolutely.
was anything bad on Trump, you would think they would have found a way to let that shit out.
Absolutely.
You know? He'd have been the
For
only
Christ's sakes,
name.
dude, they tried to kill him twice, and then they tried to, you know, they impeached him, and then they 34 felonies, and they still couldn't get him. But no, he's not on the list. I don't believe that for a second. But anyway, Steve, if you don't mind, dude, like and subscribe. It would be great if you do that for us.
Yeah, we appreciate all y'all tuning in. We're just getting going here, just talking a little bit of shit about all the current news. Big one, of course, is the Epstein case. Justin, what you think is behind what this administration is saying? You know, basically how they're just blowing this off as nothing now after they promised to deliver the goods. I mean, do you think there's malice behind it, or you think maybe they never had their hands on it? You think maybe the last administration did what they had to do?
I think
it's possible. Yeah.
It to me, it looks like Epstein had some shit on somebody, and they needed to get rid of him quickly.
Absolutely.
And they found a way to do that. So now it's like, oh shit, you know, now people want answers, you know, more than just, look, we took a bad guy off the streets. And it's like, well, we have no answers because there's none to give. He just was going to call some shit out and we killed him.
Yeah. And to me, the question isn't so much of, you know, why Epstein isn't here. It's more about, as much as, like, on this show, that we've backed this administration, you don't feel played at all by Trump and them with the way that they ran with the whole, we're going to expose everything that went on, you know, and then they sit there and tell you, we've got everything, all this evidence is on my desk, quote unquote, Pam Bondi. And then now, months later, it's, well, we don't have anything. There was never a list, you know, we don't, it's like, well, what were you talking about months ago?
I think it's a little different for me. I don't know that I'm in the age group yet of following the back scenes politics. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To have really listened to the Pam Bondis and the you know.
Okay. Well, let me stop. I'm telling you what they said, though.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Yeah, they promised they were going to give us this information, and not that we're going to give it to you when we get it. It was, we have it and we're going to release it.
Right.
Yeah.
Vote us in. We're going to, that's it. We're going to release it day one, blah, blah, blah. And then when they did get in, she's still saying, I've got all the evidence. We just have to comb through it. There's a lot of victims. And of course, we don't want to sit there and put the victims in the public spotlight, which is fine. But who are the fucking criminals in this, you know, that you were supposed to tell us about? Well, then that Ghislaine, whoever the hell her name is, she shouldn't be sitting in prison then.
Right.
You know?
Right.
I mean,
absolutely. And like Bongino on that podcast, you know, when he was talking about it's nothing crazy that's going to come out, you know, he's like, You know, me of all
No,
people. You
it
think
was
I would
Cash.
hide anything? Oh,
Yeah.
Cash Patel. Yeah.
Yeah.
You think I would hide anything? No.
Yeah, that was his big
not
thing
me.
on. Yeah, that was his thing on Rogan. You know, was that and if I had something, I mean, you don't think I would release it to the? And I'm like, why? Why are we to believe that?
Yeah,
Right.
it's like
You're part of the government for one.
Yeah, you're
and-
still a politician at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Like, I don't fucking trust you.
Well, and that was another thing. The video that they did release, you know, a whole minute from that video is missing.
Yes.
And I thought it was shit. I thought it was bullshit on X when I first saw the video. I'm thinking, well, people are editing that to get views. So what do?
Right.
I go straight to the Department of Justice website. I pull up the video. Sure enough, 11:58:58. It cuts out. There's no 11:59, meaning time-wise. It's 11 o'clock,
Right.
58 minutes, 58 seconds. It cuts out and jumps straight to 12 o'clock midnight.
And
No,
their
so where did
excuse
that
was
minute
they
go?
they have to manually reset the days on the fucking.
Yeah. It does that
security or
every
some
night.
shit?
Every night is what she finally
it's
said
from
once
the,
they got
it's from
pressed
the mid
on it.
'90s, so they have to like manually reset it every night to the next day or some shit.
It's
Like
definitely-
what?
Yeah, that sounds like a fucking security risk to me or something. You know. That's-
Absolutely.
So anyway, I don't know. It's just all the
And-
bullshit that's going along with it, man. It really.
Why
it-
was
it-
Trump trying to shut down the reporter's question so quick when he was
He didn't
asking
like
about
it, did he?
Epstein? No, he did not. He was like,
Depends
"Are we
on how
still
you
on
take it.
Epstein?" And it's like, "What do you
Yeah.
mean? Are we still on Epstein?" That's the biggest fucking news that's been out in the last
Right.
2 months.
I was trying to, give him somewhat of the benefit of the doubt because I think he wanted to keep the attention on what was going on in Texas. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
I think that's kind of where he was going
Yes.
with it. That basically, why are we talking about this creep? You know, like we're trying to focus on these missing children and these people that are suffering with that flood in Texas. You know, it's how I kind of took it once I kind of stepped back. Because at first I'm thinking, yeah, why is he blowing that reporter off? It's a legit question, but I don't think that's what he was there for. Was kind of what his sentiment was, you know.
Yeah, but you got
I agree.
homegirl sitting next to you. You know?
Oh,
It's
yeah,
like, what
no,
do you
hey,
think
look.
she's going to be asked in this
Well,
press
it was
conference, you know?
besides the Texas shit. It was like you said, it was the hottest news story going. And then
Yeah,
you get
so
asked about it. You're like,
it's
why
like-
are we still talking about Epstein? Like
is
it's been
Epstein
fucking
still in the news? What?
yeah, like it's been a year and a half since the news broke, you know. That's what
So
I mean,
true.
dude. It kind of bothers me, man. I don't know. I thought, I don't want to be naive enough to, I wasn't naive enough to think that this entire administration, everybody involved in it, was on the up and up. But
Right.
I thought Trump was a little more like, when I say I'm going to do something, because so far he's proven to be outside of this Epstein shit. Is if he says he's going to do it, he generally does it. You know what I mean? And then when it came to this, it's just from day one, it's just been a big fucking lie. And it makes you wonder why,
Yeah.
why, what's going on? Was he involved in this shit? You know what I mean? Or
No.
is it just so powerful that even there is
Yes.
no evidence to comb through, but they couldn't say that, I guess, which they should have in
Yeah.
the very beginning,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
I think
should've
it's that deep, dude. I really do. I think, and we've always talked about that it's that deep. I think it's
Yeah.
that deep, that many people between the actors, Hollywood, politicians, all over the globe. Yeah, I think it's that deep.
Yeah, well, it's deep, all right. And it's just let you know that this administration is no different than the rest of them, man. When you're dealing with the government, I just think there's more powerful forces than whoever's president. You know, it's just odd how, like I said, one of the biggest cases in the country, if not, going around the world, was this Epstein shit, and supposedly there were just hundreds and hundreds of victims, but yet one person, is convicted and another one is gone now, and that's it. And it's like, well, who were they trafficking these children to? I mean, that's the big question. Like, if that many people were trafficked, who the fuck were they being trafficked to?
Yeah,
we'll never know.
absolutely.
We'll never know. And I put some of the blame on this administration that's in there because they shouldn't have said that in the beginning. They should have been honest and said, hey, we don't even know what the fuck's going on.
Right.
They got rid of all the evidence, but they didn't say that. They promised them shit that they couldn't deliver on.
Jay says Epstein's not dead.
Yeah, I mean, I'm reading some of these comments, Darth, and it's like, yeah, look, honestly, if you think they had, if the other side knew that Trump was involved with Epstein, do you think for a second that they would hold on to that information, or would they have released that prior to the election?
Well, and Darth is basically saying that, we wouldn't hold him accountable for it. You know what I mean? I'm sitting here calling them out on it right now.
Absolutely.
Right? I'm calling them out. I think it's bullshit how they did it. And it
is.
makes me start to lose respect for that entire administration because the way I see it, they don't have any respect for us to sit there and blatantly fucking lie to us like they did. and I don't care what the reasoning is. They fucking lied from day one.
Yep. I agree.
And they could have come up with a better story than, yeah, we have all the evidence, we're going to release it, and all of a sudden, no, we don't have nothing. There's nothing to release,
Right.
And then basically do it in a way that, we don't care what y'all think. This is the story we're going with. So calling them out right now. I mean, they're not immune to being called out on their bullshit. I don't care who it is,
Yep.
I love it, Tom, for you MAGA morons to stop the nonsense. Yeah, I got you, dude.
What are we, MAGA? Johnny Five, what's up? How you doing, Johnny Five? Appreciate you joining us tonight. If y'all are just now joining us, make sure you subscribe. That's what we do weekly. Get on here and run our mouths. And we appreciate y'all checking it out. But anyway, Trump administration's full of shit. Epstein did not unalive himself. And there's a mountain of evidence that we'll never get our hands on, apparently. So I guess
there will be a whistleblower.
Brad, you got faith. I like the optimism. Eventually though, like, what are you going to do when the term's over and it's nothing? And then you got to come back and at least call them out on that and say, man, they fucking lied.
Absolutely. I'm calling him out now. I do believe it, man. I do call him, it's like, look, he's trying to live up to do what he needs to do for the American people, but in the same sense. And it's the same thing in the first election when he ran up, talking about, well, Hillary would be in jail. That nothing ever came of that, and that was freaking 8 years ago,
JFK files, he
JFK files.
First, he was going to release them. Then he started talking that shit again on the second time. And then his big excuse was it's just so much shit in it that basically the American public couldn't handle what he saw.
Right.
And it's like, well, let me be the judge of that. Put that shit out and let me judge. I mean, but that's something else that honestly, how much of that is left? I mean, what's left of the JFK files? Like, why would there be anything left?
Exactly.
If you did something like that, like took out a president, it's not like you're going to sit there and have some secretary typing up every move you made, and it's all on paper somewhere. So I don't think Trump saw shit when it came to that. He claims he did, but I don't believe he saw anything. And I could just tell by the way he was kind of answering that on Rogan's podcast. Well, I read about half of it, and a friend of mine told me you might not want to read the rest, so I stopped reading. Like, hey, get the fuck out of here. Like, that'd be the last thing I do. I'm like, whoa, is it that good?
Right.
I gotta get to the end of this book.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, enough of that bitching, man. What Justin, are they cloud seeding? Is that what caused the big Texas flood?
It's not what caused it, but they are cloud seeding, yes.
Because didn't they say like a day before somebody admitted that they were?
So it was 2 days before they were doing some cloud seeding out there, and it was a few miles away from where the rain happened, but the cloud seeding takes effect and it'll rain for 30 minutes, an hour, after the fact. So not 2 days, and definitely not,
So that
inches.
seeding shit would have had nothing to do with.
No.
Because I know they're trying to blame it on everything but nature. Like, wasn't it Trump's fault?
Yeah, exactly.
At some point?
It was Trump's fault that people died.
Right. It was something to do with the fucking weather.
Defunding the weather
defunding
shit.
NOAA.
They didn't have enough weather people on staff, which they did. They typically would staff 2 meteorologists for, suspected flash flood events. They had 5. And they also put a flash flood warning out about 4 hours prior to any flooding starting. And then a flash flood warning out as, the river started to rise. And then a flash flood emergency right after that. So there were warnings; they were there, but it just happened to be at 1 o'clock in the morning that it happened. So cloud seeding, no. The defunding of the weathermen is a no.
Right? Yeah.
It just
absolutely.
It's a terrible spot to build camps. Honestly.
Yeah. Well, apparently now, especially in hindsight, I guess.
Well, it is, and I mean, but what was the last one? 87, 86, but I don't think it got that high. But I mean, that camp's been around 100 years, so that camp's been around 99 years.
Same level. I think the river was at like 32 feet back then.
Yeah.
And it rose. I mean, almost the same exact circumstances, but I think the rain was like double or triple what it was in this event. So it rained a lot more, but it did come up almost 30 feet in an hour. It happens.
Did they find all the people yet? Or they still
no, there's
missing?
still 160 people missing or so, something like that.
Damn.
140, 160, and then there's a big flood in New Mexico that's happening. They had a
Oh, that's
20-foot
it.
river rise in an hour. It was 30 minutes. The river rose 20 foot out there. Chicago's flooding. They got water evac happening out there.
Oh, that's it. I think the end is here, guys.
North
This is it.
Carolina's flooding from that
This is it.
hurricane. They had water rescues happening out there. Rivers flooding. So
From the hurricane.
yeah,
What hurricane?
Not hurricane. Tropical system.
Oh, okay. I'll say, where the hell have I been?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So there's water everywhere, but it's kind of that time of the year, and anywhere that you've got, rivers and shit that are flowing through mountains and foothills, and I mean, you're just gonna have fast water flowing that stacks up on top of other water, and
Yeah, the
floods.
ground is so dry, dude. The water's not seeping, and
Well, right. That
yeah.
and like in New Mexico, they just had wildfires, so it's just soot
Right.
all over the ground. Well, the
Yes.
water doesn't soak into that. If you go burn a stick right now and stick it into the pool, pull it out,
Right.
it's going to be completely dry because the soot is just hydrophobic. So the water just beads off of it like Rain-X on a windshield.
The fuck is Bob talking about? Bob here in the comments. Y'all fear the Antichrist only to end up buying Bibles from him. Oh, okay. That's a shot at. I got you. Okay. We're going to stay away from that. But anyway.
Bob the Anarchist.
So there's flooding going all over the fucking place is what you're saying.
everywhere, dude.
I need to pay
And then
more
we got
attention to
a
news.
tropical system that they're watching for development in the next week or so.
Bring it on.
Bring it on.
We're used to it down here. Bring
We're
it
gonna
on.
live stream from the roof.
It might be.
We'll be in our attic live streaming if we can get any signal. Damn.
Yeah.
Y'all gonna join Elon's little America party or what?
I didn't know.
Dude, I think that's look. I think we need a third party because I believe the Republicans and the Democrats are just pretty much one alike. I really do. You can see with this big beautiful bill. It's not so beautiful. It's got some good things in there for people, but it's not really good. But I think we do need a third party. But the problem is that he's going to start this party, and it's going to pull Republican votes, and it's going to be nothing more than with Bill Clinton, George Bush, and with Ross Perot kind of thing.
Yeah.
If you understand where I'm coming from.
Oh,
there,
yeah.
and you're going to go back to Democratic control.
It might
so.
look, the Democrats walk right in.
Yeah. And look, people in the comments will say, well, is that a bad thing? Yeah, I think it is. I think the Democrats are shit, to be honest with you. So, but yeah, I'm not really a fan of it. But do we need another party? Yeah, absolutely. But right now, I don't think we need another party,
Isn't that like what Bernie Sanders was doing? Wasn't he another party?
No, I think he's always been. He's always been on the Democrat side. Huh?
Yeah, I mean, he's a socialist, I think he's proud of it. But he's a millionaire socialist, so, 3 mansions and,
Yeah, and I don't even know if, how serious Elon is. He keeps talking about it, but I don't. He's got to know that that's not gonna. For one, he's not gonna get anywhere with it. These other two parties are too powerful. They'll never let a third party even have a chance. You know what I mean?
Right.
So then all you're doing, like you said, is you're giving it to one side. So you better figure out if it's the right side before you go doing this shit.
And I think
not that any of it fucking matters. I mean, I guess if they're all on the same fucking team, why does it matter who's in? And
the whole Trump and Elon beef. I think Elon's probably a little pissed because I think he cut a lot of subsidies for electric vehicles in this bill, and which is going to affect Elon because I think he gets a lot of subsidies for Tesla and whatever other solar companies he owns. So
I just got an email from Tesla, I think yesterday, telling you the date that the shit was ending, the EV credits or whatever, So basically, if you're going to buy now because the credits is about to end.
Yeah. So, and the way I feel too, it's just and look, I'm not a fan of our government subsidizing oil companies, but I do think that's the best thing we have going. But when you sit back and look at it, it's like, God, I mean, by now, if solar, wind, and electric cars can't make it on their own, why we got to keep subsidizing? So, but I don't know if it'll ever change. Be honest with you, dude. I don't think it ever will.
How about this one, huh? Kamala 2028.
Never gonna happen.
Camel toe.
She can't even get an attaboy to run for governor for California. So it's not gonna happen, dude. No.
Thank God
Canadian.
Thank God I'm Canadian. I don't know.
Canadian bacon sucks, but
Canadian.
Just hang on, brother. You might be the 51st state, So
hold on. We got another one that loves us.
Hell yeah.
Yep, that's what we're here for.
Well, at least you're here. I mean, just subscribe,
Just
dude,
sub,
for us. I mean,
yeah.
yeah, just sub us, dude. I mean, but we like your comments. Keep them coming, dude.
Yeah, yeah.
Everything's cool. Yeah,
Let us know the
absolutely.
channel to your podcast. We'll check it out.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking
Absolutely.
KF Chicken Bucket.
Anyway, what else is going on in this crazy world? Trump's a fucking liar. Yes, yes, we do. I want to answer this real quick. We do weddings, funerals,
Fuck you.
you name it. We
You ever
do
seen
it.
The Wedding Singer?
Bar mitzvahs, dude. Yeah.
Yes, we'll do anything.
It don't matter, dude. Yeah.
Bob, you should sub. You should sub. This is the
I might sub. You should sub. Yeah.
third best show on YouTube, guaranteed.
Yep.
Guaranteed.
Esposito. What's up, buddy?
Oh, what's up, man? So anyway,
You gotta like that. In all seriousness, great podcast, guys. Just subscribe. Thank you. I appreciate you.
My dog.
yeah. Let's see what's going on.
Somebody
in this
mentioned something about wildfires earlier, and I was wondering, like, if the cloud seeding was as powerful as, like, you know, some people do think it is, why would you not just
Right.
cloud seed on top of a wildfire and just drop a bunch of fucking water? You know what I mean?
Explain the cloud seeding like I'm four. What do they do?
So basically, they find a cloud that has moisture in it, right? So it's got to be a cloud there already. But,
Right.
you know, just like we see clouds out here all the time that are just drifting by, they're not raining, right? But there's moisture in the air. So then they take silver iodine or some shit
Yes.
and salt, and they spray it in the cloud, and it gives the moisture something to stick to, and it basically freezes it and turns it into ice and snow so that it will fall out of the cloud. And as it's falling, it melts because, you know, it's warm down here. And it makes it rain. So they're basically just making the water heavier than it is so that it will fall out of the sky.
So what reason are they doing it for?
For farmers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying,
farm-
why haven't they used it for, like you said, these wildfires? That
Because if there's no clouds around, then there's
Well, yeah,
nothing
you
for
can't-
them.
So I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
They're not making clouds.
No,
They're
so
just-
it's not
No.
just like anytime they want, boom, thunderstorms,
Yes.
you know? So it's got to be a cloud that they can spot, and it has to be close to precipitation, but not quite there. Like, it just won't drop the rain, and then they can, you know, just kind of tickle it a little bit and entice it to drop some water out the sky.
You know, I was listening to it today on Glenn Beck, and he had the guy that owns, is it called Rainmaker? I think
Yep.
is the name of his company. And boy, he went in depth about it, about cloud seeding. And basically, he was talking about, and Glenn was asking in questions on behalf of that, like, how much money is spent on cloud seeding? Like, our government we only really spend on that about $2.5 million a year, to where China is like $1 billion gig, man, is what they spend on cloud seeding, trying to, you know,
That's
they'll
why-
cloud seed. Yeah, they'll cloud seed the mountains to get more water to fill up aquifers,
Yeah.
and you know, but
Right,
we
that's
don't
what I was gonna
spend a
say.
lot of money here on it, and it's not a new thing. If you really listen
No.
to this guy, it's been around since the 40s. So if that
Right.
says anything, you know, so
we
it's
just didn't,
you know,
we couldn't prove that it worked until
Right.
2017.
right,
'Cause,
exactly.
Again, you have to choose a cloud, so it was always kind of in that gray area of
Right.
like, well, did you make it rain, or was that cloud just gonna rain anyway, and you happened to
Yes.
pick the right one? You know,
Right.
so they didn't know until like late 2017 that they were actually making a difference with it. But yeah, it's not some super powerful, you know, witchcraft weapon that they can use to,
No.
you know,
Yeah,
And
bring
there's no
Noah's Ark
controlling.
back,
I mean,
but-
according to this guy's story, there's no controlling storms. You know, like the Democrats were out
not.
there during Katrina saying that George Bush steered Katrina to New Orleans. You know, he says it's just impossible. There's no way to do that. You know, so
not.
Mhm. Sounds like something they'd say.
Mhm.
I
Yep.
don't believe they're up to any good with this seed and shit. And so
I
if China's
gotcha.
doing this shit at the
Yeah,
kind of pace
absolutely.
that Justin's
Yeah.
talking about, they got some shit going on.
It's the silver iodine that kind of gets me. But when this guy talks about it, it's like it's such a small amount. It's equivalent to like what they use is like maybe a pack of Skittles to cloud seed a cloud, clouds,
Yeah.
It's not like it's a shit ton, So, but anyway,
Yeah,
I don't
I just think
yeah.
I think like just small storms are a lot bigger than a lot of people tend to see them. You know, like even like say like a tropical storm, right? They say it releases the same energy in a second as like 10 Nagasaki atomic bombs, right? Every second, like that's the energy these things are putting out. So they're not to be controlled. Like you couldn't create something like that. We just don't have the power to do it. It'd take the energy of the world many times over to try to make a hurricane to just go fuck up some land.
No, I see what you're saying. Yeah, it wouldn't. Yep. Well, I know it was one dumb thing I heard about the hurricane where they were talking about dropping some kind of powder shit in it that would turn into like a gel and then just fall into the ocean or some shit would be the way to stop the hurricanes.
Yeah.
And apparently that doesn't, it's not enough profit in that apparently.
No.
That's why they ain't done it.
So much. Because I was actually watching a physicist describe the process it would take, because we could nuke a hurricane and kill it.
Fuck yeah.
But by the time you drop enough nuclear bombs on it to destroy the hurricane, you would wind up destroying whatever country it was going to hit anyway.
That's a risk I'm willing to take.
Like, no.
Well, look, dude, we got to keep the insurance companies in business, dude. So that's why they got hurt.
We can stop a hurricane, but we would destroy ourselves trying to do it. It's kind of the point that he was getting at.
That's what Luke was saying. Yeah.
Well, he said, can we stop a hurricane, though? And we can, but, whoever it was heading towards would also be gone, so it would make zero sense.
Yeah.
What do y'all think about the theory that they're flooding these small cities to make room for smart cities? That's what I'm hearing.
For smart cities?
Yes.
Well, we won't be invited there.
That there are plans for smart cities in all these flooded areas that it started with the Helene.
City? What is it?
Same
Nobody
thing.
ever explained it?
Could the LA fires have the same purpose?
What'd you say? No one's ever explained it. They just
nobody
used the term.
explained what a smart city is yet, but they said they were making room for. But they said
I don't want to go there. I'm okay.
Like the floods in North Carolina from Helene, and then these floods in Texas, and then the floods in New Mexico, and the new floods in North Carolina. They're flooding the cities out to basically just clear the land for free.
Who is
that
they?
They can come back and the government.
I believe it.
Come back and build a smart city.
That's exactly what's going on. At least we're going to spread that word.
So absolutely. Let's roll with it.
I still want to know what a smart city is. What is a smart? I mean, I know
maybe
what a
like
smart
the Jetsons or something, dude.
It could be.
I think that's what the plan was. Something.
Luke, I'm going to answer your question. Me personally, no. I'm a round Earth believer. So.
I am a globe guy. What about you, B-Rad?
We may or may not have someone on the panel that's questioning.
God, the more I fucking look into it, I do believe the Earth is flat. I do believe we're living in a firmament. So
there you go, Luke.
I think you and Johnny are on the same team, dude. Johnny said he's a flat Earth knower.
I know
flat Earth knowers. Ooh,
absolutely.
Damn.
Good job, Johnny 5.
Wow. Damn.
Yeah.
No.
Read the Bible. It's in the Bible.
It's a long book, dude.
It is.
Just break it down for me. What's it say?
Johnny said he looks out his front door and it looks
8
pretty
times.
flat.
What'd you say, Johnny? What?
He said he looks out his front door and it looks pretty flat to him.
Oh. Well, how big does my hand look? I promise you, it's not really bigger than me.
Who is Wolfman talking about?
No, dude, he's on a tyrant about Byron, little Byron's Trump,
Baron
Trump,
son.
Yeah. And so apparently he's a huge fan.
Fajay.
Oh, smart city. Somebody's telling me what is that?
Oh. That's funny.
Oh, hold on. I'll put it back up there.
It's going to be like a giant calculator.
Yeah, right.
Some people would be like, that's not nice. Like that would be some racist comment. That's a fucking hell of a compliment, man. People get screwed, the Orientals, because they get, they lose their places in these colleges and shit and their scholarships over this DEI nonsense.
Man, you sit back and you think about smart cities. I mean, what are they talking about? More apartment style or more, are they talking about single family homes in these smart cities? Or are they talking about, no, we're gonna build high-rise apartment complexes where people can live and it'll be solar powered? I don't know.
Every time I heard smart city, just like a city-wide large parking lot full of Tesla chargers popped in my head.
Well,
Right.
it's
That's
saying
what I saw every time.
It utilizes digital technologies and data analytics to improve the efficiency, sustainability, and quality of life. It
Gotcha.
involves integrating various systems such as transportation, energy, waste management, and public safety through
Right.
interconnected networks that use the
Absolutely.
internet.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's
Womb to
basically
the tomb. Yeah. Womb to the tomb. Government control. Government.
control. Yeah.
Yeah. Government's going to be there for you. Yeah. Absolutely. I
that's
get
the
it. Guess
scary
what? I
part
want
is
no
they-
part of that. I want no part of that bullshit.
Well, I was going to say they have some people that would love to be a part of that, but
Yeah.
somebody's going to be controlling this smart
they're-
city. So who's
trying to
got
put us-
control?
Like, they're trying to put us back into the simulation.
Basically.
Yeah.
It's like the Matrix, right? Isn't that what they did there? I never watched the movie, but I've heard little things.
I just see the memes. I don't know if I ever watched a movie either.
I remember the green letters, numbers, things flowing through, but
You know how I know it's not good? Because Google's explaining it as an improved quality of life. And I'm like, nope, I'm out. If Google's telling you that, I'm out. If anybody on that side's telling me life's going to be better if we do this, nope, I'm done.
I like that Christopher Coleman. Yeah. Dumb people, smart cities. Yep. You're about right, dude. Yeah.
And that is true. Freedom or die. This is how I know these people are.
Mm-hmm. Mass transit, foot traffic, high density housing. Yeah, no, I get you,
Yeah,
James.
no
yeah,
way.
absolutely. No, yeah, no.
I haven't,
I'm cool.
Bob. Bob wants to know who hasn't seen The Matrix. I don't think I ever have, honestly.
I've never seen it either.
Just wasn't my thing.
No.
It wasn't my thing. I know what the fuck it is, but I've never sat and watched it.
No,
So,
it's a lot of movies I haven't sat and watched.
No.
It's a lot.
I don't have time for that because you know what? You know what I do with all my free time? And I work. That's what I do. I work a lot. This is my enjoyment here for a couple hours a night, once a week. Other than that, I'm working. So I don't have
Yeah,
much
I just
time
have
for
like
TV.
a 5-minute segment of Brokeback Mountain on repeat on my TV
That's
at
it?
all
You just keep
times.
watching? Yeah, it was the best.
On repeat.
Right.
Boop, boop, boop,
it's the
boop,
best
boop.
part.
It is.
Yeah.
It's sick.
Let's see what Luther's talking about. It was an overhyped movie, and it's ridiculous that it became a culture phenomenon when 90% say red pill, blue pill, and that shit. They've never seen it. Yeah, that's
Yep.
true. Yeah, I never got into it, but
I'll agree with you. Like
faggoty
Jurassic Park.
liberals.
I feel like that was stupid.
Jurassic
Dinosaurs.
Park? Yeah, it was all right. I
Yeah.
was young. Anyway.
Isn't there like 12 of them?
I have no idea. So, yeah. No, I'm
What
not
else?
in the smart cities. Yeah, but it looks like it's coming, mass transit and all this
Oh,
other
it's coming.
bullshit. It's coming.
It
And
won't be too
in the
many
whole in the whole world of digital, I mean, a whole nother comment too, a whole nother topic to talk about is, and I talked to you, Shane, off air a lot about it, is whole, like all of the way the digital money and everything is transitioning. And, we see what people are spending. Cash is just, people say cash is king. It is for the short term, but it's all getting ready to change. I do believe it,
Yeah, and it's all hidden behind, we're making it convenient for you.
Yes,
like I said,
absolutely.
anytime the government has anything to do with telling you that, it's going to make your life better,
Right.
you might want to
Run.
dig into it a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
run.
Go the other way. Now,
Yeah.
some of the shit you're not stopping, like all this smart technology and all, there's no stopping it. It's here.
Mm-hmm.
All this digital currency shit. I mean, it's coming eventually. All they got to do is just say your cash is no good anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Luke. We are fucked. That's
Yeah.
an ultimate. It's true. It's
That's what
just
I mean.
a matter
Yeah,
of time.
You can not like it all you want. It's kind of like people that refuse to learn how to work a smartphone. Well, I mean, you can not like it, but they're here. They're not going.
They're here.
anywhere.
Exactly.
Dude, I will
right.
say I refuse to learn how to use like Apple Pay and shit forever.
So you're one
And-
of them, huh?
No, I can't live
one of
without
them,
it
too.
now.
using that.
I can't live without it now, dude.
And you have that.
oh.
Yeah.
I don't like talking to people I don't know, right? So like
Yeah.
the least amount of social interaction I can have in a store, the better. So like when I'm going to pump gas, I just touch my phone to the gas pump and I'm pumping gas. Like
That's
I
why I
don't
like.
talk to anybody.
I don't mind the self checkouts. Some people hate them
I
just for the
love the
principle. of it.
self-checkouts.
I'm like,
Yes.
fucking yeah. I don't have to talk to nobody.
Yeah, it's great.
Good. But then they got these people that are just die hard. Like, no, fuck that. They need to give me a discount if I'm going to check out my own groceries
Yeah.
and all
Yeah.
this.
If I got to
Exactly.
get in a line for somebody to check me out, I'll leave.
Yeah, fuck all that.
I don't
like
even
the
need these
self-checkout.
groceries.
Yeah.
We can do without.
I like.
Yeah.
They
I
need
know.
to
I
have,
know probably y'all, but I don't Venmo. I don't Zelle or Zool or whatever it's called.
Zelle.
I don't do I don't do any of that crap. Zelle. I don't Apple Pay. I don't have any of that.
I just have Apple Pay, and that's it.
Yeah.
So easy. So easy. But
It's
I never
convenient.
got into
I
all
see
the
it.
other ones.
I see my
love
friends
it.
that use it, man. It is.
Well, it's too convenient. That's what they want.
It
That
is.
shit, they make it so easy to spend your fucking money nowadays.
Oh
You're
my
not even
God.
paying attention to how much you're spending.
Yeah.
That's
And
true.
Then it's all tracked
Absolutely.
for one. So
And then, like,
Yes.
with your Apple Pay, you can link every single credit and debit card that you
Everyone
have
you
to the
want.
same account. So you
Yep.
could just click one and use it. You don't have to, like, fumble through your wallet to, nope,
it's awesome.
any card.
Well,
It's great.
You see that comment right there from Freedom or Die? We're not
No.
totally fucked yet. We just have to pick the right government that is less detrimental to us. And
is there
what
any
government
fix in
is
it?
that? Yeah, what government is that? That's what I
look,
want to know.
That's where I'm starting to go towards, and I'm sure there's a lot of people that have already gotten there, but I don't think either side is really in it for anything but themselves and just power
Absolutely.
and more money, more power,
Absolutely.
more control. I don't care what side. Everybody likes to pick their team with this Republican Democrat shit. I just don't see
Yeah.
any of them really being for the
Yeah.
people. You see it. The
Yes.
more and more you start paying attention, that's all you see, And as much as we sit here and, when Trump was running, we were behind him the whole time, and because I guess if you're going to get into the politics, you try to pick the lesser of the two evils, but then,
Right.
it just seems like eventually they merge and then they're all just on the same fucking lane, working towards the same goal, which is more power and more control.
Right.
And then it makes
True.
you where you don't even want to get in this nonsense no more. Like, what the fuck does it matter who I vote for? None of them are doing a fucking thing. You know what I mean?
No.
That benefits the American people. Because as much as, like, with Trump with this big, beautiful bill, I mean, you were just sitting there earlier saying that it's really not that fucking beautiful. And you're
It's
saying
not
that as a
that
Trump supporter.
Absolutely. It's
know?
not that beautiful. And look, I don't know if he had the intentions of that. Not being a big, beautiful bill. I'm sure he wants it to be big and beautiful, but I mean, God, it got hung up in the Senate, and then you got all the, it's so close with the whole politics of right and left, and dude, they cut it up, they chopped it up, sent it back to us, and what little bit I read about and what I hear about it, no, I don't think it was all that great. It adds to the deficit, and does it do good for the American people? Yeah, short term, it is, but the dollar's dead, dude. The dollar is dead. I don't care what anybody says.
And that's exactly what Elon was bitching about. A lot of people say he's mad because of the EV shit, the tax,
Yes.
but, he's saying it has nothing to do with it. It's that, for one, he was brought on board to save this country money.
Absolutely.
And then you go and start passing these kind of bills that are,
And you're
doing the
spending
total
$2 trillion.
fucking opposite.
Yeah, and you're spending another $2 trillion added to the deficit,
But
or maybe
I think,
more.
I think he was another one that looks at it like we were just talking about, that you start to realize they're all on the same fucking team.
Absolutely,
he was watching
100%.
how it worked from
Yes.
the inside, and it's like,
Yes.
well, this is bullshit. Nothing gets
Total
done.
bullshit.
Yeah,
Yes.
and then
Total bullshit.
These bills, I mean, it's never let's just vote on one thing. It's let's pack this bill full of 100 fucking things and then vote on it. And it's like it shouldn't work like that either. They should vote on a couple things at a time.
It was like extending shit that was kind of already in place. A good majority of it, from what I was seeing, is just shit.
And look, I think some good points on it, brother.
Soon.
Yes, I think there's some good points. It made the tax cuts from the past permanent. It ended tax on Social Security. I think that's great for seniors, man. But when it comes down to adding deficits and all that, God, I don't know, man. I don't know how much more we can take of it when it's adding
I think
money
instead
to
of Social Security, there should just be like a mandatory 401k, input.
Well, you say that, Justin, and I know you're young, but I don't know if you remember when George Bush, the younger George Bush, was running. He mentioned it one time about taking a percentage of your Social Security. I don't know if you remember, Shane, and he said you should be able to invest that in an IRA, 401k. That's all the traction that it got, brother. It never went no further than that. And look, I think
didn't
that
benefit the government.
Absolutely.
So that shit was
Absolutely.
done. Yeah,
you're killing the Ponzi scheme, dude, if you do that, And look, I mean, honestly, if I could take all the money I put into Social Security and just put it into a Roth IRA, S&P 500 or some BS like that, you'd make 100 times more
that's what I
than
just
what you're
told
making out of Social Security,
buddy at work, the Brazilian that he's right there about to have his full citizenship, and he was asking me about starting it because we're all 1099 over there, so he was asking me about starting to pay into Social Security, and I was like, fuck that, start an IRA and just put everything that you would towards Social Security into the IRA. Like, fuck the other way. And that's what he did. So, like, good for you, because you probably won't see a payout on that shit ever. So,
Yeah, I'm closer than both of y'all, man. I got about 9 years, and I'll be
yeah, I got like,
and I'm taking it the moment
60.
I can. Fuck all these people, these financial guys. Oh, you got to wait till you're 70. Fuck that, I might not be here. I'm taking it at 62. I don't care what anybody says, dude.
Now,
I'm
what would
taking it
Dave Ramsey say?
Man, I'm not worried. I like Dave Ramsey, but I'm not worried about him.
I can't stand that motherfucker. He's sitting there getting filthy rich, telling people to not enjoy a fucking dollar you earn until you're too old to fucking enjoy it. That's the dumbest fucking advice.
He is one of the better financial gurus out
Fuck
of the
he
bunch.
No, you can't buy nothing. You can't do anything.
Well, but the other ones tell you to go fucking like buy my course, you know, and you'll get rich. So I'd rather him tell me to buy not a fucking thing than
don't spend no money except for my course.
Buy my book, man. I get what you're coming from.
It's $8,000. You get the whole package, mentorship. Yeah. You get to come out and see me in person.
Yeah,
I'm gonna show you how to make money.
But here's the thing that Dave Ramsey though, he doesn't have to do that now. That's old school shit where you were trying to sell courses. Now you get on every single fucking podcast you can, getting paid to get on them. You know what I mean? Or you're doing your own to where you're racking up fucking, you're monetizing on that. So believe me, he's making his fucking money.
Well, he's making a lot of cake.
Tell people don't spend yours. Put it all up until you're too fucking, disabled to use it. You know, and I'm like, fuck that. There's got to be some sort of line, It's like,
I guess,
and there is, dude. I mean, look, when you look at like Dave Ramsey, and he'll sit there and preach about debt is bad, dude. There are two kinds of debts in this world in which we live in. There's a bad debt and there's a good debt. To me, going in debt on assets, it's not an issue. I have no problem with going in debt on an asset, and I don't consider a Chevrolet pickup truck or a Everglades boat or a jet ski. That's not good debt. I'm talking about if you buy an asset, real estate,
debt. What about a Cybertruck?
No. No.
Yeah, but those are fun.
But you know where I'm coming from with it. You know where I'm coming from with that.
I just look at it different. Like those are fun debts. Some of those, like you buy a boat. So what is so wrong with enjoying? Especially when you're in the part of your life where you actually still have some energy, you want to get out, you want to do things, but you got this asshole on a podcast telling you don't do any of that until you're fucking 78, and it's like, well,
I think the difference is like, if you want to go into as much debt as you can to have fun, do your thing, but don't bitch about being broke. Don't bitch about not having any extra money because I got to pay all these fucking bills. That's fine if that's.
And I'll say, I'm giving Ramsey a hard time, but I'm just fucking around. Like all he's doing is giving advice that if you want to be financially comfortable later on in life,
do what you have to do to save.
I just see it almost totally fucking opposite. Like I want to do that shit now because I know I ain't gonna feel like doing nothing at 70.
Dude, I'm so with you, man. God, I'm so with you.
So you just got to find that fine line because you don't want to be dead broke either at 70 having to work. But at the same time, you don't want to be sitting on your deathbed like, damn, I didn't do shit but save money. That's all I fucking did. Fucking Dave Ramsey.
You could be 70 with like 12 boats you can sell though.
See, there you go. You can accumulate all this and then sell it all, hopefully.
Right.
No, I just freedom or not. Social Security is not a Ponzi scheme. No, I'll disagree with you 100%. It's nothing but a Ponzi scheme. It pays out more than it takes in. It's just a matter of time before it falls, So,
I'm with
and look, I really think if the government could get the people that have not paid into Social Security off of Social Security, might not be a bad thing, but you don't get your money. I mean, look, if you look at all the money you put into Social Security over 40 years of working, God, I mean, if you could invest that like we just talked about, S&P, IRAs, 401k, dude, it'd be tripled, maybe quadrupled what you could get off of Social Security,
Yeah.
Well, and I know people on Social Security, and the problem is that, we get a 2.5% increase. Well, guess what? That's great because I'm getting another $120 a month. That's fucking fabulous, dude. But guess what? Their Medicaid, their Medicare, it went up. So now they're deducting what you're making. So you're not getting shit, dude. Yeah, you're not getting shit, dude.
You could save all that Social Security money through your life, and then when it's time, you can go play double deck blackjack and retire comfortably or not at all.
Put it all on red roulette table, babe.
You can
Let's
do
go
that too?
gamble.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
dude.
gambling's fun, dude.
Gambling is fun, and I say if that's
So-
what you want to do with your money, man. Look, Dave Ramsey can kiss my ass. I want to go gamble.
Fuck yeah.
So no, I always got a kick out of that. Like I said, getting wealthy, telling people not to spend your fucking money and have any fun with it. And it's gonna come out one day that he's the total fucking opposite. He's broke. He's fucking going bankrupt.
Right.
News is gonna break.
No.
Most people that are telling you how to fucking live aren't doing it right themselves. You know what I mean?
I get where he comes from when you're
Scratch
talking
off
about
tickets.
emergency funds, and you're talking about have your cards in the right order before you start going in debt. But
Yeah.
and look, people
No,
do it
I
every
get it.
day. We know people that are going to buy $100,000 vehicles. Dude, you're making $60,000 a year, and you're going to buy these $100,000 vehicles, dude.
Brad?
That's a stupid move. What
say you on the comment at the top? It's the Republicans' fault, according to Zumbi.
Zombie? Where's he at?
It's on the top of the screen.
Oh, it's on the top.
Yeah.
Social
Social Security
Security
isn't to blame. It's the Republicans who keep.
Oh, defending it. I don't know. I mean, you got to have it around. I mean, there's so many people that depend upon it now, but I think it's a bullshit system that was set up. This whole new, the whole new deal, the great deal or whatever it was called back in the 50s when they put it into effect. No, I think it's all bullshit. I think people can do better on their own. Not everybody, because there's a lot of weak-minded people out there. I have another adjective that I'd like to use, but I'm not. But
Do it.
no. And when you give that phone number out, I'll do it. So
Yeah.
but no, you know what I'm saying? I think, see, like myself, I've been self-employed for 30 years, and I've done really well for myself, and I have my ups and downs, and I go through my trials and tribulations. But with the same point, I would rather be managing my own money than having to say, oh, you owe this, you owe that, you have to put, it's all bullshit, man. It's all bullshit.
Yeah. Well, the freedom of die is right. I mean, we work, most of our lives, retire 65, and if you're lucky, get $3,000.
If you're
And
lucky.
it's like, yeah, and it's a shame. I think if you put that much work into this fucking country, and you paid your debt like that, and yeah, I think you should be taken care of. Insurance, fucking, living expenses. And I not everybody can, it's not like, oh, here's $20,000 a month, but at least a respectable amount. It's just a lot of these people, these older people have to go to work just to afford health insurance, because they get government insurance, but it doesn't cover everything. So then you're fucked, And
look, people out there that are watching us, and we thank y'all. You can subscribe and like us and continue to watch us. But you know what? I look at it all the time when I go into the Walmarts or I go into Home Depots or the Lowe's or these big department stores. Not that I'm a big shopper, but I am construction. When you see it and you see these 70-something-year-old people in there, do you think some of them might be in there for their health, just for the fun of it? But do you think the average person in there that's 70-something years old is working because I just want to be here? No. I ask the guys. I'm in there. I'm in Home Depot probably 4 times a week buying stuff. And we start talking. And it's like, no, I got to work. I've got to afford health insurance. I'm not making it on what my retirement is paying me, and it's sad. It really is. It's sad.
it's because they didn't listen.
They should have listened to Dave Ramsey.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
They took my advice. Spend it all.
Hey, the Walmart door greeters
So true.
seem like happy people.
The who? The Walmart?
Walmart door greeters.
I'm still confused.
They seem happy.
Are you required to show them anything when you're leaving that place?
You are not.
I mean, I don't like being rude to them because they're elders, and I'm not going to sit there and disrespect them like I see some people. But it can't be any kind of law you're breaking by just walking past these motherfuckers.
No, you're not. And I walk past them. If they're tied up with somebody, I'm not waiting in a line at the Walmart door to get out.
Right,
I'll walk past them. But if they're like, hey, can I see the receipt? I'm like, yeah, I don't care. But
So, yeah, that's what I mean. It doesn't bother me as much as it does some people, that are just.
If you put everything you have in a bag, they won't stop you.
No.
So no. If it's bag, no. If you're just trying to walk out, right? But I would think even if
tape, I'm gonna walk out with like a 75-inch TV with just Walmart bags taped all to it. Okay. It's in a bag.
Yeah, it's in a bag.
Fuck y'all.
Yeah.
My financial advice is that if you finance everything that you want when you're young, you don't need health insurance when you get older because they can't do anything to you if you don't pay them anyway. So fuck them.
Who can't?
$10 a month.
The doctors.
Oh well, yeah, but all they got to do is keep. It's like emergencies. They make you stable. But if you need any kind of treatment,
that's all I need.
No. That's all you need.
That's all I need.
Cancer.
They can't let me die on purpose. So
I'll be right
Yeah.
back.
Yeah, but
Yep.
they can tell you, like I said, if you need some kind of treatment for some kind of disease you got, they don't have to give it to you.
Hey,
And that's the bad thing. And that's what a lot of these old people come down with shit that their insurance only covers a small portion of it. After they done worked your whole fucking life away, then you get fucked over like that in the end.
health insurance is a
That's why I say
scam.
stop working as soon as you
It's a
can. That's my
scam.
advice to everybody.
Hell yeah.
As soon as you can get the fuck out of that rat race, get out of it. Even if you
Yes.
gotta, scale down your fucking expenses, man. Fuck that shit. Just going to work every single day like people do. And you get caught in it where it just becomes a normal part of life. And it's like, why? Why is that normal?
Yeah, it's
We spend more time at work than you do at home.
yeah.
That's bullshit.
And
you
I
know?
think that's kind of Dave Ramsey's point of getting out of debt and staying out of debt as early as you can, because then you can put money up and you don't have to work. But we all fucking build as much debt as we can with every penny that we earn, to where it's like you can't stop working. And then you get a raise, and what do? You get more debt. Get another credit card. You get another
it's definitely a lot of people's problem. The more money you make, the more you spend, for sure.
Yep.
Instead of saying, "Oh, I've got extra money I can put up," it's, "Oh, I got extra money I can go either finance this now or buy this." I get caught up in it myself. It's like, oh shit, yeah, I got my hands on some extra cash. Let me go blow that shit. But
Yep.
I look at it like I could be dead tomorrow, so fuck it. I want to enjoy
That's
it.
what I say too.
I'll probably be 77 saying,
don't
"Damn, I should
mind
have saved some."
I don't mind the bills and shit, as long as like it's shit I'm having fun with, but I try
Bama
to stay
makes
away
it-
from the credit cards and shit.
Well, Bama makes a good point. It's working isn't bad, because he's correct about that, because I noticed, like, at the house, you know how we are. You're just like me. You're always into some sort of project.
Always.
It's not like you're at home sitting on your ass. This is the only time we sit still for a couple hours, because we go live on this. But usually we're fucking
Right.
building things, making things, tinkering with things. It's not the work that bothers you. It's like the pressure or the knowing that you don't have a choice, really. You know what I mean?
It's
You
the
just have to
force
do
of
it.
having to do it.
Exactly. And I guess you don't have to. You could go live off the fucking land, but basically you're forced to go to work if you want things in life. And I think that's what a lot of people don't enjoy about it, because they have a lot of people that aren't lazy that hate going to work. Me, I hate that. And I'm self-employed and I still don't like it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
I'm with you.
far from lazy, because I'm usually outside sweating my ass off working on something at the house,
Right.
But so yeah, it's just, how it is, man. It's like you're in a prison, when you're at a job, and nobody likes that feeling.
See, my problem is like shit like, all right, so I need to replace my front door on my house, right? So I'm door shopping, and what do I see? I see a door that connects to an app that you can smoke out the front glass and make it clear with the app, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. Extra couple $100, but
Yeah. Why not?
awesome,
Yeah. James,
So-
I'm sorry to hear that, brother, and thank you for your
Yes.
service. But yeah,
Absolutely.
I mean, and hopefully you're taken care of enough. Like you said, your wife and kids are good, and so I hope you're getting compensated for your service. But 38's young, man, to be forced to retire, for some shit like that. I mean, we'd all like
Right.
to retire at 38, but it'd be nice if it was by choice.
Yes,
But
absolutely.
anyway. So I don't know. Like I said, spend it if you got it.
spend it
Yeah.
all.
I'm gonna start the
Yeah.
opposite Dave, like from Dave Ramsey course. I'm gonna see how many people I can get to jump on board. As soon as you make it, spend it.
Yeah,
Because you could
spend
be
it.
look, my whole thing's gonna be you could be dead in a week.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, if we're really in it, if you go get a payday loan, you can spend it before you have it, and then you don't even have to worry about it by the time you get your check. It's already spent, it's gone.
See?
So
There you go. Look,
have fun now.
We're going places with that advice. I'm telling you. 'Cause
Y'all
most
come back
people
on
live.
Friday.
Most people live by that advice, so I think we'll have a bigger audience than Dave Ramsey.
I think
Yeah.
so.
There's
So
more
look,
people living paycheck to paycheck.
every Friday we're gonna go live, and we're just gonna give out financial advice. All right, so y'all
Yes.
check in.
On what not to do.
And we're gonna give it out for free. That's how nice we
Absolutely, dude.
Exactly.
are. Yeah.
You just
Unless
got to
wanna buy our
subscribe, dude.
course.
Yeah.
Oh, what are we talking shit about Mexicans now? What is this? You see the Mexicans coming down to help? They didn't come down to Texas, did they?
I think they come up to
I
Texas.
think they came up to Texas.
Yeah.
But either way, people in Texas see
Same thing.
we don't see color. Man, look, I forget. I was talking to somebody about that today about being over there and trying to help. But man, you talk about when you got them kids involved. You know what I'm saying? And then you're pulling out dead bodies of children. Man, it takes a special person. Now, of course, you're always doing it because if you could just save one of them, then it's worth it. But man, you talk about stick with you for a while. You start pulling children out
Can you
of
imagine
floodwaters and shit, man.
It really hits home, man, for me because, and probably you too, Shane and Justin too. It's like, man, I have young grandbabies that age, and it's like, God, I just could not imagine, man, the families of what they're going through right now with the grieving and the loss, and Jesus, just it is. It's sad.
Yeah,
it really is.
And did the Cajun Navy ever? Did y'all hear anything about that? Because don't they usually?
I think they were there. I think they were there.
Yeah. I saw a couple Cajun
I figure
Navy,
so. They usually jump into action, which that's what I mean. It would be cool to have the time to really go do something like that. But like you said, it takes you got to be strong, mentally, because you're going to see some shit when you go into those situations, and it's not the adults that bother me. I've seen dead adults before. It's not, it's like I said, when you start pulling children that are drowned, and that's the shit that lingers.
He was National Guard, Raymond.
What?
The National Guardsman that saved 160 kids.
Did you hear about
by himself?
Damn. How? What was he doing?
He was just, I guess, first out there and dropping in from helicopters and shit. And his rescue count it was at like 160 as of a couple days ago that he rescued by himself. I think he was young too. He was in his early 20s.
Yeah. Damn. I didn't even hear about that.
Hats off.
Yep.
Did you seen that video I sent you, that bitch talking shit on TikTok?
Oh, what was that? Damn it. What was her name? It was that black lady
Sadie that was something.
Yeah,
Sadie's World.
Something like that. Yeah. What was her deal, man? What the fuck?
Well, she said that the camp, whatever it was called, Camp Mystic, she was basically like, look, they want us to come help and da-da-da, and before y'all put on your rain boots and go out there, y'all remember that Camp Mystic is a Christian white-only camp, and, if you ain't white, you ain't right. They ain't got, not a staple Mexican, not a staple black child on their website and this and that, and basically like, fuck them kids because they're white. And
imagine taking the time to do a video like that, and then posting it. And not even like second guessing, like, man, that's a little too far. I mean, no matter what race it happened to, like that, to take the time to make a video like that, talking about children, and then deciding to post it.
Yes.
I mean,
I agree with you 100%.
I've done some videos that I even second guessed, the shit I'm talking about. So I'm like, no, I'm not going to post that. And it's nowhere near as bad as fucking talking about dead children, because of the race they are. That's pretty fucking low.
Yeah, and like Raymond said, that was their big thing too. Is like, well, they got what they voted for basically because white Christian Trump supporters in the camp. These 6 and 7 year old children were white Christian, racist Trump supporters.
And that's not to say that if it were a different demographic that happened to the other side, there'd be people on the other side, hateful people that would say the same thing about them. If this would have happened in, fucking in Portland or something, but it's not right either way. And I don't even know how an adult brings themselves to say some shit like that, let alone, like I said, post it on the fucking internet, because the backlash she had to receive was crazy.
Oh, it was. And she was defending herself. One of her comments for, verbatim was, somebody said basically, if you weren't something like that, you wouldn't have had to be out here defending yourself. And she was like, defending myself from what? She was like, maybe it was God's will that those little cunts got washed away.
I did see that. Yeah. I called them little cunts. Like, how do you sleep at night?
Yeah.
And she'll be the same
bitch,
one.
Babe. That's all
Next,
I can
she'll be
say.
on the internet bitching about death threats and all that she's receiving.
Oh, yeah. Her shit went private. They doxed the shit out of her. They got her address, her husband's work, fucking
good,
everything.
Good.
I believe it was the mayor of Houston. So she was somebody high up in one of the kitchens over there, the city kitchens for, I guess it was homeless or whatever. But so she wound up getting like banned for life from that, and
well, good.
So yeah, but her husband's a white church pastor apparently.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I did hear her husband was a pastor. I didn't know she was. So what does she think? She has a pass on talking that kind of shit because her husband's white? I mean,
I
what a
guess,
weird.
dude.
That's what I mean. What a weird just train of thought.
It's
Just to
very,
even.
very weird,
I don't know.
dude.
To even think that, for one, for it to come across your brain, and then to. I mean, what do you think the response was going to be when you put out something like that?
Absolutely. To sit down and do a cast, and God forbid if you had to do editing on it to even make it sound halfway decent to put it out
Something,
there.
yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But yeah. I do believe
Yeah.
Epstein was in Mossad, Israel, CIA. Absolutely.
Who said that?
Zombie
Zumbi?
Slayer.
Well,
Yeah, I do. I believe it. It's
Epstein
deep.
was-
It's
doing
very
what for
deep,
the
dude.
doing what for the CIA?
Dude, I guess I would have to say that he was an op man that was trying to see what kind of stank he could get on other government officials if it was in this country. Because I mean, we look at Epstein. What little bit I've read about him and know about, where did he come from?
Yeah, because I've never even heard
where
the
did the
fucking
millions
name.
and hundreds of millions of dollars come from? You
Yeah,
know?
I think what did he invested
yeah.
in some? I forget what they said he did, but I'm with you.
Yeah.
Like I never even heard of the fucking guy
Yeah.
until all this shit broke.
Absolutely.
And so you're saying like the CIA, is that all kind of tied into what they're talking about? How it was a blackmail operation? I mean, is that the
I believe
same
that's what
kind
it
of-
was. I believe,
Yeah.
and I was listening today, and maybe it backfired. Maybe it did. Maybe it backfired, and it's like maybe that's why Trump is where he's at. I still think I'm still a little aggravated with Trump because you push that on your agenda to get elected, and you're not out there doing what you told the people of America that you were going to do.
That's what Timothy was saying. Timothy, welcome to the show.
Yeah.
Anybody just join in, hit that subscribe button for us if you don't mind.
Absolutely. Yes.
But it was one of the things he ran on for sure that got him in. I mean, I don't think that was a main, because back then it wasn't like, oh, we got to get Trump in so he'll release the Epstein files. I don't think that's what really got him in, but it was a big part of his campaign. So we talked about that earlier. But yeah, it's true. I mean, it all turned out to be a big fucking lie, and there's so much more behind that story than we can probably even fathom. And so when you start throwing things out like, he was, in with the CIA, people would look at you like you're crazy. But it's like, well, what else do you want us to think when everything we've been told now is a fucking lie? So all we have is conspiracy theories now,
Yep. I still think there's more to it. I'm just going to die on that hill, dude. I think there's more to it. I believe eventually something will roll on that. I just think in Trump's mind, I don't think it's the right timing to release, so.
Well, and I hope you're right. I mean, I respectfully disagree. I think that he just fucking dropped the ball on that, but I hope you're right. And for the country's sake and, for to give Trump some kind of fucking credibility still, I do. I really do hope you're right. I don't see it, I think it was just another one of these government controlled bullshit fucking lies that even is out of Trump's hands. But
I agree.
He can't
deep
say
state
that,
kind of shit. Yeah.
Trump don't ever want to let you know that he's not in charge is the problem. So he would never say that, it's out of my hands. But so I don't know. Maybe we'll find out.
Well, C unit, man. Idiots will blame Donald Trump for anything. I totally agree with you.
Well, yeah, because we had talked about it earlier that
totally agree with you.
There's way more powerful forces going on than the president of the United States. And I think even Trump found that out, I mean,
absolutely.
There's so much more going on behind the curtain than any one man that's in there for, if you're lucky, 8 years, and then you're gone. So it's like, why would they let you control anything?
Yeah, absolutely.
Your ass is in
100%.
and out,
Yeah.
But,
and look, I think if Trump keeps fighting for the American people and you leftists out there that are listening to us, you'll see eventually. I don't understand any of your points that we can sit here and say that the Democrat Party has done good for us even over the last 4 years versus the last 40 years. I'll just never believe that the Democrat Party has done any good for us. I think you can take Trump how you want him, but I do think he's for the American people. If it's cutting taxes, putting more money in your pocket, ending property tax, and we can go on from there. But with that being said, anything that'll benefit me and any of my friends and working class people, I'm all for it. Yes,
I think with every administration, you're going to get bullshit. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
There's not going to be no
Every one of them.
perfect
Yeah,
administration.
absolutely.
So it's you just got to the lesser of two evils, I guess, and go with it. It's just a shame to watch, and
Yep.
just the more you pay attention to it, we touched on it earlier, just how it seems like they're all on the same fucking team, and there's nothing you
Yeah.
can do about it. Because
Yeah.
it's no third party that's going to come in and save everybody, no matter how much Elon's going to pump all this
Absolutely.
shit up for the next 4
100%.
years.
Yeah.
Nothing's going to change.
And look, real quick, let me answer Zumbi. Obamacare did good for you? No, Obamacare fucked everything up that I'm fucking with healthcare right now.
That's exactly what Johnny Five said.
Yeah, I had
Johnny
great
Five's like, what the
fucking
fuck are you-
healthcare. I had great fucking healthcare at a cheap fucking price with co-ops and all of that, co-pays, and now I pay a shit ton of money with a high deductible that I have no medical insurance. Basically, yeah, when I go to the doctor, I pay. I never meet my deductible. So thank God I'm healthy, but yeah, no, Obamacare fucked everything up for everybody.
Well, I don't think it was for everybody, right? It was for the ones that
it was only for the 10 million people.
Yeah,
whatever
because, I mean,
it
I'm
was to
sure there were
benefit,
people
yeah.
that benefited from it, but
Absolutely.
it's the
Yeah.
same ones that benefit from EBT
Yeah.
and and shit
Well.
like that. And look, that's not to knock everybody that's on
Yep.
any kind of welfare, because some people are they have a tough time and they need that leg
Yes.
up. It's the ones that make a career out of welfare.
I don't.
You know,
speak
it helps
poor,
them.
Dude.
Do what?
I don't speak poor, so I don't know.
You
what
don't
you're
speak
talking
poor?
about, but-
You don't speak. You crazy boy.
Yeah. Well, I want my share of the fucking welfare is all I'm saying. I think I'm jealous. That's why I bitch so much about it.
Yeah.
I'm just jealous because I got to
also-
pay for my food. I got to pay for my health care.
Well, see,
Pay
I
for
don't
your
pay
housing,
for healthcare
right.
because the last time I went to the doctor, they classified me like borderline superhuman, so I don't need it. But so
I'm pushing for that, but it's not happening.
Yeah, see, Johnny Fives, he's talking about the comment that lady was making about them children that were drowning, and that's how it is. It hits a lot of people that have kids. Like,
Yes.
for one, you put yourself in that situation. If that was your child, out there missing, and then you got some bitch getting online saying some shit like that, and it's
Yes.
like, what? I don't know, man. It probably giving her more time than she deserves right now. But I wish I knew her name, because at least if we're going to talk about the cunt, we could throw her name out there. But
I don't know her real name, but it's Sadie's World is her.
Yeah, I
TikTok
forget.
name.
But
Hashtag universal healthcare. Yeah, well, fuck universal healthcare.
isn't that what they do in Canada?
Yes, I believe
Yeah.
so.
I've
Call
heard
it.
different stories. Anybody that's not from Canada tells you it's just a nightmare as far as getting health care
Yes.
over there. And I've heard a couple people in Canada take up for it. I wish I could get a true opinion on that shit. You know what I
Right.
mean? Because it can't be good. It just can't.
Look up the
anything state
statistics
run.
of how many people from Canada come to the U.S. for surgeries, operations, and treatment.
And
Just
we
look
go to
that.
Mexico.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We go to- yeah,
Well, and
absolutely.
and like this, Zumbi's saying he's a veteran, don't have to pay for health care, but lots of people deserve to go to the doctor without going into crippling debt. I do believe that. I believe the healthcare system
Absolutely.
in this country is fucked. You know what
Absolutely.
I mean? It's way too expensive, but the problem is the alternative is shit care.
Right.
And
And it's
hospitals run like the DMV.
Right, exactly. You get state-run hospitals, like you said. It's like going to the fucking DMV where you're gonna wait. You got a broken leg and you're sitting in the fucking, the waiting room for fucking 17 hours waiting to get seen, and you got people sitting at a desk that don't give two fucks about anything that's going on with bad fucking attitudes
Right.
and shit. Anything state-run is like that. So that's
Yep.
the alternative right now. Because for one, let's face it, doctors in this country make a lot of money.
Yeah.
So there's
Sure.
a big benefit to
Yeah.
becoming a doctor and being a good one in this country.
Right.
It's like the doctors that fix up these NFL athletes, like the one that did Drew Brees' shoulder when he blew it out.
Yeah.
Right.
Big name doctor makes millions of dollars because he's good at what the fuck he does. Well, let's
Right.
say he was getting paid $10,000, a year. Well, he ain't gonna. Why would you even pursue that? You know what I mean?
Right.
So therefore, it's
very
like,
true.
I don't know what
Very
the
true.
alternative is besides overly expensive health care if you want good health care.
Right.
I mean, I'm not saying there's not an alternative. I just don't know the answer. I don't think it's free health care for everybody because, for one, nothing's free. Somebody's paying for it, taxpayers.
And to Zumi's comment here, he's a veteran, and thank you for your service. I appreciate it. But
Well, it depends.
even
I don't know what country he's talking about, but
yeah, well, yeah, if he's not from America, but I'm talking about America because I have family members that are veterans, and the same thing. They battle I mean, when I tell you, brother, they battle the VA for treatment, for procedures, for whatever it might be. Me personally, dude, if you're a veteran in this country, you should really be able to go to any hospital in the country.
Yeah, it shouldn't be just a veteran.
A VA. Yeah, you shouldn't have to go to a VA. You should just be able to pull up to your local hospital, get treatment, get whatever you need, and it's covered, because you put your time in. So, yeah, absolutely. I agree.
That is true, but then what do you do? It still doesn't solve the issue of the average American that can barely afford to stay healthy.
It's true. Yeah.
So how do you combat that? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know it's tough, man. It's tough. Everybody today wants to run to the emergency room, and but I don't know. I think there's a way to do it. But is it government healthcare? No, I don't know.
It can't be, because it's just Justin hit it on the head. It's like it'd be like going to the DMV to
and you've
get
seen that over the years. I mean, I grew up within the city of New Orleans, and everything was charity hospital. But I mean, I've heard stories. People with a broken arm would sit there for fucking 18 hours to get an X-ray and a cast.
Yeah, so that would be every place you go for any kind of care.
Absolutely.
And I mean, that ain't.
Can we normalize emergency rooms pulling teeth? Can we do that?
Instead of going to the dentist?
Jesus, bro. So
Bama. I want to know what Bama has against Burger King. I ate Burger King tonight, dude. The fucking Whopper was amazing.
I do fuck with Burger King.
Me and Brad were talking about it during the day, and I was like, oh, yeah, that's dinner. I'm going to get a nice, greasy Whopper.
I love the Whopper.
But anyway.
Whopper over Big Mac all day.
All day long.
It is a Canadian company now, Burger King, but yeah, it's still good shit.
Yeah, it is good shit. But all right, Zumba says he's a U.S. Army veteran. We can go to any ER, so apparently they can.
Good deal. So, yeah, I'm happy for you, man. Thank you for your service.
They won't cover dental.
Timothy's got to go. What happened to Fauci? Absolutely nothing, which is the worst part about all of that.
Absolutely.
And nothing's going to happen to him. But yeah, he's another. He just kind of he disappeared. I thought that was another one that they were going to get after this administration and all that crookedness that went on, with all of that, with Fauci and all. Now, granted, look, they're only a year and a half into the term.
Yeah.
So I'm probably giving them more hell than they deserve, but it's like, I want shit now. Let's go.
I haven't even heard his name though.
Nah, he just disappears.
Collecting his government pension, dude. Yeah.
Well, GQ barbecues think this is stupid. Yes, but it's free, so you remember that.
Well, GQ, dude, it is. It might
subscribe.
Be stupid. Yeah, absolutely. Just subscribe. Yeah. Help some folks out, dude. Yeah,
we're gonna change the name of This Is Stupid. That's what we just.
Sam said he got a bag and went away.
That's true. Fauci made it.
He did.
Man.
He did, man. Yeah, absolutely.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy because which I guess is why didn't he get that like immunity and shit when Biden went out?
Yes. I think wasn't he part of them pardons or something?
I think up to a certain, I think it starts at a certain year forward.
14 maybe?
Yeah.
It might have went back to 14.
Man's done so much crooked shit over his fucking career, man.
Because wasn't he like a 40-year veteran with the federal government, 30-something years or something like that, dude? I think he was that long with government and science or research, whatever he was doing.
Yeah, Raymond's right.
He's another one.
I've seen the Department of Justice, they're talking about investigating, Brennan and Comey. He said call me, but he meant Comey. And it's true, but the problem I have again with this Department of Justice is all we do is open investigations. It's like, can we close one of these motherfuckers with any kind of anything besides? Well, there's nothing to see here, like they just did with Epstein. Like let's close it with putting some fucking people in jail, man.
Absolutely.
What they talking about, the Diddy list?
Diddy
no Epstein list because it's the Diddy list. I forget his shit's still going on.
Sure is.
I wonder
Sentencing's
if he's
coming
gonna
up.
walk. Yeah, did they set a date?
I don't know if they set a date. I know he's facing.
I don't think
10
so.
years,
I haven't heard.
10 years is what he's facing.
Yeah.
I see. I think he gets nothing.
I think he gets
nothing. He's not getting nothing. No. Yeah.
I don't think.
Maybe some fines or some bullshit like that, dude. But
Yep. Diddy's gonna walk.
He's a freak, but let him be a freak. Who cares?
He's a freak.
He's a freak.
As long as ain't children involved, dude.
Was that an allegation at any point that there were young people involved?
It was, yeah.
Was it?
At the very beginning, it was like that was one of the big things was that there was juveniles involved, and
but apparently there was nothing they could prove.
Apparently not.
Or it wasn't true.
Or it wasn't true, right?
It just seemed, man, they went through a lot of work as far as like the FBI to get this dude with, you know, what they got him on, some kind of prostitution bullshit is all they were
got
able
him
to
on.
stick.
Yeah, just prostitution and like transportation for prostitution reasons.
Yeah,
and
so
shit like
they
that.
went through. I mean, they went all out raiding this dude. They had to have a reason to raid him because the judge would have never signed
there were
off.
like allegations, like real allegations.
But
that
even
they
just
fought.
allegations, like usually they're not coming in like full force like that unless they got a case, like clear cut. You know what I mean? So is there any fuckery going on with this? Is what I'm getting at. You know, is this man guilty of more than what they got him on? But then I'm like, he ain't that fucking powerful. He's a goddamn hip hop mogul.
I don't think
He's
so
not.
Because everybody turned against him as soon as the shit came out. It wasn't like people were like, no, Diddy didn't do that. Like, you know, protecting him. Like, everybody was like, fuck him. Like, I don't want to touch him at all. You know, so.
Then, like I said,
never pardoned Diddy yet. He never, I'm just reading this lady's.
No.
But he did mention it. He did mention that he might pardon Diddy, you know, so.
Pardon him for what? Boy. I mean, if he did the crime.
You got to do the time. And look, and
and
Zumi, he'll get time served. Absolutely. He won't do any more time in jail once he's sentenced. No, I don't see it happening.
Well, this is another smokescreen to distract from real problems like World War III. We going to war, guys, or what?
No.
Thought all that shit was squash.
Economy? Yes, I agree with you on the economy. This is a smokescreen for what's coming with this economy. We are going to experience the biggest change in our lifetime, and most people will just adapt to it, but it's going to be hard for seniors, and I'm getting older too, so I'm not really I won't adjust to it too well, but it is. There's a change coming that I don't think anybody's going to like, and you're not going to have a choice. It's called 36 trillion in debt and growing. So
should I spend everything I have right now and enjoy
I would max out, Shane. Look, on the non-Dave Ramsey show that we're going to start.
Yeah.
You have to max out every credit card that you can, every loan.
Hold on. All right, let me write this down. So max out every. Okay.
Absolutely.
Pull out
max
every penny of equity you have on the house.
On the house, everything you can, and just go spend it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Yeah, with a non-Dave Ramsey show. Yes.
How did Reagan get thrown in this? Johnson said Ronald Reagan got us in this mess. I thought he was dead.
In this mess?
What did he do?
How? Yeah, I want you to explain that to me.
I know Reagan, he did do, he's got some questionable shit that he did too. And
he was a Democrat, and then he was reformed, and to a Republican.
Yeah.
Hey, there he is. Where you at, Skate?
Skate's back. What's happening? Tiny penis, mushroom head can go back on the Jeffrey Epstein Island and go find what the fuck is.
Tiny penis.
I saw Tiny Penis. I'm like, well, how does this dude know me? But then I realized he wasn't. He wasn't talking about me. Like, get out of my bedroom, dude. Moses is right though. We've never not been in a war because it's so fucking profitable. You know,
it's very profitable.
Anytime there's a war, somebody's profiting.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, why would you end that? You know, there's billions and trillions to be made.
Yep.
By going to war.
Yep.
So.
And that's crazy because if like I go to war with the neighbor, like somebody's going to prison. You know what I mean? But we can do it as a country.
Yeah.
True. They love it. These politicians. The one that comes to my mind that's a warmonger is Lindsey Graham. You know, so he was the first one to come out and say that we need boots on the ground and dealing with this Israel and Iran.
Not his relatives though.
No, not his boots.
No,
not his boots, dude. That pansy motherfucker. Anyway, dude. But
any of them that call for that shit, it ought to affect them. You know, they
absolutely.
I would say they go, but a lot of them are too old. But they're family members. It's like, okay, well that's fine. Who you got young enough? We're going to send them too. You know what I mean?
Right.
But they don't. That's never the case.
No, not my child. Right. Exactly.
Timothy knows what's up. Money is all. It's all it's ever about. There's no other reason to be in these fucking nonsense wars. No other fucking reason. Your only obligation is to protect your country. You know what I mean? So we got to have a beefed up military. I'm with that. But, you know, as far as all this, you know, going and like you said, putting boots on the ground everywhere and trying to, you know, be the fucking world police. I mean, it's just always a money trail. You know?
It is.
None of it's done out the kindness of their fucking heart. It's just money. It's disgusting, man.
I mean,
There's a lot of
Jesus, we spent over what 20 years in the Middle East and nothing when we
and
left,
countless lives lost.
and
You know what I
countless
mean?
lives, man. Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely, dude.
parents they lose children out there, and
Yeah,
people you lose loved ones just
yep,
all every day over there for nothing.
yep,
And a lot of these young people get caught up in it, being patriotic, thinking they're doing what to serve their country, and they're being
right,
fucking used, man.
yep,
That's like I said, it's nothing against the military. I mean, we need a strong fucking military, but you could use it the
yeah,
right way, not for fucking profit.
yeah.
But
And look, I get it with Timothy and Tom. We the people, our political system is broken. 100%, 100%, it's broken. So, and
yeah,
it's not going to change. It really is. And it's a shame to think about it like that too, Shane and Justin, that this our country is so young.
Oh
We're
yeah.
249 years
it's
old,
very
man.
young. And this
Yeah,
shit
we're a
could
young
collapse.
country, and we can collapse. And I
Well,
don't know
just
if we'll ever collapse, to be honest with you. But I think, when you sit back and you look at the 29 depression, and could that happen again? Nah, they say there's safety checks and all involved. That'll never happen again. But I don't believe anything they say. I think it could happen, but I hope not. I really don't. But I just think hard times are right around the corner.
yeah, I would like to think we're in a spot where we wouldn't totally collapse.
Right.
But I mean, how many countries have thought that?
Yeah.
And
You know why we haven't collapsed yet? Because we can print money.
yeah, well, that's true.
The day we can't print money is the day we don't. And look, there's not much being said. Trump talks a little bit about BRICS, but I'm gonna tell you, if that shit gets any foothold and starts rolling with the BRICS, dude, we're in trouble, man. We are. We're
Speaking
in
of
trouble.
bricks, whatever happened with the audit of Fort Knox?
Yeah,
With all
absolutely. That's
the
a good
bricks of
point, dude.
gold.
That's
That was another
yeah.
thing that was promised to us.
Man, fucking Trump, that motherfucker.
The fuck, Trump? We were going to audit Fort
And
Knox.
he's watching, guys. He doesn't comment, but he is on it
Yeah,
because we
Trump's
make
seeing
sure.
this.
Yeah, he's watching it right now from the Oval Office. I promise you.
No, I was just thinking about that. I'm like, well, that was another thing he was running on. Not that it's not that it was going to change everybody's life, but it's still, it was just something
I would
else.
love to know what's in Fort
Yeah,
Knox.
I want to know where, because it probably ain't there. So where did
It's
it
not
go?
there.
And
It's
that was the
not there.
questions he was going
Right.
to answer.
Yes.
That's
It would be his
crazy.
fault if they did the audit on Fort Knox and there wasn't nothing there. It would be Trump's fault that there's
It's
nothing
probably
there.
on 2
according to the
Chainz'
left.
neck.
It might be on 2
Might
Chainz'
be.
neck, in Birdman's mouth.
Yeah.
That might be the next show next week. As much as I hate to say it, it's just going to be a list of Trump's lies.
I like it.
And this is from a pro-Trump show, but
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm
As the
starting to
world turns, dude.
yes,
Yeah.
I'm,
Yeah.
I'm starting to see a little
Yeah,
trend
man.
here, man.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. Yeah.
Damn
That's
it.
another lie. You brought up a good point right there, dude. Yeah, where is
Yep.
the Fort Knox audit? I want to see it.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
that was a big one. Because even he was accusing it of not being there. That it hadn't been audited since what, the 70s or something, the
Something
late
like
70s.
that. Yeah.
And he was like,
Yeah, I think when they took us off the gold standard, it
Yeah.
hasn't been audited since.
which I
know,
guess it
so.
doesn't. We're not on the gold standard, so I guess it doesn't
Right.
matter. But
Nah.
if the gold went somewhere, it's like, well, where did it go?
Yeah.
Where did
I
this
think-
fucking gold?
I think
It
that's
didn't come to me.
good.
So
good
Yeah.
setup for next week. It'll be BSing with the guy sneaking into Fort Knox.
Yeah,
We'll go see for
absolutely.
ourselves.
How far you think we'd make it?
We can find out.
Yeah, it's like trying to get on Area 51, man.
What
That's another
president has the largest deficit in American history? It's Mr. Mushroom Head, Ketchup Ear himself, Donald Trump. Facts matter.
Ketchup ear.
Dude,
So
I don't
this-
know, man. I mean, I know Obama during his tenure, he doubled the deficit. So that would be something I'd have to look up, Tom, and see. But yeah, I'd have to look that up and see. But I know Obama doubled the deficit. So it went from
I'm taking it.
9
Tom
to
doesn't-
18, so
He doesn't have a MAGA hat. I'm taking it.
no. But I tell you what, Tom, if you DM us, we'll send you one if you would like one.
So will.
Absolutely, in a heartbeat.
Yeah. Yeah, Timothy's right. All of a sudden, Trump's like, man, fuck that Epstein. Like, next, let's move on to the next one.
Yeah, and look, here's Tom. 6 bankruptcy. How in the hell do you blah blah? Look, you look at Macy's of all people. He went bankrupt 3 or 4 times, and it's nothing for companies to go bankrupt. And it's a system that we live in, and it's laws that you can go bankrupt on. And But look, how can you refute that Donald Trump's a multi-billionaire now? He's done something right in life, and
wasn't
we've
that
all have our ups and downs in business. I mean, it's just, if you're self-employed, if you're working for the man, you won't understand. But if you're self-employed, you will understand that you have your ups and downs. I came out of Katrina almost bankrupt. I did. And I've worked my ass off for the last 20 years to say I'm never going back to that point, making bad business decisions. And then Katrina didn't help. So I'm always.
It's like Trump said himself. I mean, all he's ever done is use the laws to his advantage. If you don't like them, change the laws.
Change the laws.
Plain and simple.
Absolutely.
I mean, any of us would do it. We just don't.
And
make
do you think Trump's the only one that uses that law?
No, the people that were accusing him of that shit.
Absolutely, 100%. Absolutely, 100%.
We would do it. We just don't make the big moves like those guys make. But I mean, why wouldn't you use every law? Because you got a team of people you pay to use every law to your advantage when it comes to taxes or just the way that you're investing or these bankruptcies.
Yes.
It's not like Trump's in there filling out bankruptcy papers. I mean, he's got a team of people that do this shit, and they do what's best for him and his companies. And I mean, that's what you pay them for. And as long as they're not breaking the law, then I don't see the problem with it. Because he said it straight up. You don't like the law, change it. That's all. That's all I can tell you.
Exactly.
I think that was Hillary he was telling that to, and he's like, it's the same shit she's done. Her and her fucking cronies do the same thing.
Absolutely. Yeah, you can go back to Whitewater and all of that shit back in the 90s, dude. Whitewater, and it's all bullshit. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's because of capitalism, huh? Yeah, well, there's no better system in the world than capitalism. I don't care what you say. I'll debate you to the cows come home with that. So I'll take capitalism any day over socialism, Marxism, dictatorship. You can say what you want, but capitalism is the way to go. So
I don't know.
Y'all think the average crackhead lives a happier life than we do?
Yes,
absolutely.
Not when they're sober.
So much stress, like just stress free living.
I think any I guess drug addict, as long as you're high, you're living a great life. I don't know.
I feel like
every time I've been high, it's been amazing.
Like Shay and I talked, it's like somebody even with autism. It's like, dude, they're living the best life, dude.
Well,
think about it, dude.
Well, we talk about more of on the Down syndrome.
Down syndrome. Yeah,
it's like they don't know. I mean, honestly, and it's not to say it's good for them, but like, how bad can it be when you're always a child and you're
yes.
I mean, you know what I mean?
No worries, man.
Have you ever met a sad retard? I mean, I haven't, and I've got them in my family, but they're always laughing. They're always watching fucking wrestling, doing John Cena shit and all, like it's what they do. They love life.
Dude. Yeah, absolutely.
They do love life.
Absolutely. They love life, and it's a great thing. Here we are every day sweating the dollar and sweating to make ends meet and sweating to make money. And it's, you got some people like Justin said, you're a drug addict. Who really gives a fuck, dude?
Dude, I've seen multiple crackheads like by the red lights by work and shit. None of them were like mad. They all just seem pretty chill and happy and stress free, honestly. You know?
Yeah, it depends.
I get it.
I guess if you've accepted,
like you just go from like all these worries to just like one. How am I gonna get one more rock? Back. Like that's your only concern. That's it.
Yeah, I'm with you. I still think the retards got it better.
Probably, at least most of them I guess have houses to go home to. But see, crackheads don't care. They'll sleep in a tree, sleep in the parking lot, sleep at the house. Like they don't give a fuck.
And you say you were riding on a road, and one of them was just sitting in the street taking a shit.
He was on the sidewalk taking
just
shit.
Like making eye contact with people as they pass.
Dude, yeah. It was right under the interstate coming down the road.
Something, boy.
Oh, it was nuts. I've seen some. They do crazy shit, but they're happy.
That's New Orleans for you.
Oh God.
No, I guess that's every big city, but I don't know.
Maybe.
Said, join the Marine Corps. You will see a lot of retard crayons. That's terrible. We didn't say that. He did. Hi, Ricky. Ricky said hi.
What up, Ricky?
Everybody tell Ricky hi. If you're just tuning in, we appreciate y'all watching. Again, we go live once a week. Get on here and solve all the world's problems. And it is free before you start bitching about how stupid it is like some people do. It's a free show, damn it. Enjoy it. What else? I'm trying to see what else is going on. Let's do some X scrolling. AB's back at it.
Oh God.
I thought it wasn't he wanted for like fucking attempted murder or some shit.
Yeah, shooting at that show.
I guess he's still wanted. I don't know. He's always on X acting an ass, but
oh, AB, dude, jeez.
Anyway, I want to fight Jake Paul. Just for the money. Not that I think I could beat him, but
yeah.
I mean, I just want the payday.
It'd be cool.
It's amazing people still tune into that shit, you know?
Dude, he just had one, didn't he?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And it was the same thing. It was a joke.
I didn't think anybody watched it because I didn't see one post about it.
No, it was a joke. That was when he started bitching about suing people for calling his fights bullshit, you know? And it's like, well, there's another way to go about it. Stop making your fights bullshit.
Right.
I mean, fight somebody worth the fuck.
Do you think... Because somebody was talking about like potential like fraud charges and shit because people were like, you know, betting money thinking that these fights were real. Now, I call them stupid that you thought these fights were real, but if they're selling it as a real fight, it turns out to be a scripted wrestling match.
Yeah, if it's a sanctioned fight and you can bet on it, then yeah, there should be some sort of stipulations that, I mean, but how do you prove?
It'd be just
you know
the
what
same
I mean?
as if a basketball player on the Nets is throwing games on purpose for people to win bets. You know what I mean?
The only thing, like in boxing or any kind of fighting, or like, how do you prove it? You know,
well,
if it's
apparently there was a video taken by somebody that basically the day before the Tyson Paul fight, they'd seen them rehearsing in the ring.
Okay, well, that's just dumb then, you know what I mean? Because that's a way to get caught if you are trying to fix it. And if they can prove it or something like that, and like I said, it's a sanctioned fight, then yeah, by all means, anybody who loses money, it should be an issue, you know, that they can deal with in court if you can prove that it's scripted and bullshit. But it's easy to kind of, I guess, not really script them, but, you know, I don't know, fucking just give the outcome. Like, say me and you are going to put on this big fight. Well, we don't even have to put it down on paper. We can just get together privately and say, look, you're going to have to go down. You know, just we'll take it kind of easy to the third round. I'm gonna catch you with a good shot, and I'm going to need you to go down. You know, and that's it. Nobody knows but me and you. So that's how easy it is to fix those fights. So it's like, how do you ever prove that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the only issue I see with that. Because that's what everybody was like, well, if it's a real fight and he's so, you know, adamant that it was real, then release the contract. And I'm like, what do you think the contract says? I mean, and if he was, like, what contract do you think he's going to release? I mean, they can print up anything.
He's going to write one tomorrow and say, here you go.
So there's no way. That's why boxing's kind of lost its luster, man. It was kind of big when I was coming up, but it got so rigged and so fixed, and, you know, they just do it so blatantly that nobody watches that bullshit. But I'm seeing here, Secret Service suspends 6 agents assigned to protect Trump during Butler assassination attempt.
Oh, shit.
Suspended them. Yeah, let me guess, with pay.
Appreciate it, Johnny.
You should lose your fucking job. You know what I mean? If you're Secret Service and that boy was allowed to crawl on that roof like he did and pop a shot at the president in plain sight of everybody.
Yeah, that's
the worst that happens is
nuts.
people got suspended, you know? I mean, what is that? Just to say, hey, look, we did something about it. That's a weird one.
I mean, I think I'm surprised he hasn't tried to investigate that. Where'd I go? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Oh, I think I'm froze. Anyway.
Brad, welcome back, Brad.
What the fuck? All right.
I'm surprised he hasn't investigated to see if there's any kind of just, you know, like willful negligence on the part of any of the CIA members that were supposed to be a part of that, you know, because
the problem
Buddy wasn't in a ghillie suit hidden in a bush.
No,
you know I mean?
Yeah, King is telling you froze. Yeah, Justin's froze at the top. He knows, but y'all can still hear him.
Yeah, it's cold in here.
He's fixing his technical difficulties. But anyway, yeah, the problem with that is I don't know. Like, that's kind of like the JFK thing to me. Like, how much of that do you think is on paper somewhere of what was going to go down? So where even if Trump did this big investigation, like what are you going to find? You know, it's
Yeah.
not like they were writing down like, okay, let guy on roof, make sure he gets a shot off. You know what I mean? I just don't
Right.
think
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
done
yeah.
like that. So I just
I
don't
agree.
think there's any type of evidence to even dig up on that. And if it is, it'll never see the light of day. It's like we've said before on here, there's more powerful people running shit than the president. So that's my only thing about that.
Yeah, I agree.
Anyway. Justin, are you fixing your camera? Everybody's missing you.
Yeah, they are just.
I don't know what to do to fix it. Everything's on.
That's a cool trick you're doing, though.
Yeah, it's got to be the humidity, dude. Yeah.
It probably is.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah, at least we can still own guns. Yeah, you're damn right.
But see, they would take that away in a heartbeat.
If those fuckers could take them, they'd have them already.
And I don't think the Republicans would be against it if it didn't give them such a good platform to run on.
Some of them, absolutely.
You know what I mean? They just know that that's how you fire up their bases.
Because
the Second Amendment.
The NFA would be fucking gone right now if they cared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. 100%.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I don't think they care as much as they act like it, but they know it rallies up that base, I mean, they got to have something to run on and, maybe, like I said, fire up their side. And they know that's big with the conservatives. It's the Second Amendment.
Oh, right.
So it's easy to run on that, but which is fine. I mean, let them keep running on it because we need them. We need they take our firearms away. We're all fucked, even though a lot of people that, are against people owning them, they don't realize how much trouble this entire country would be in if it weren't for the type of firearms that we're able to possess in this country.
100%, dude.
I mean, that's the only thing
100%.
that somewhat keeps them in check. Now, I know you got, Biden likes to, what are you going to do? You're going to fight tanks and, missiles and jets. And it's like, it ain't about that.
No.
But
I would if I had to.
Well, you can do what you got to do. At least you go down with a fighting chance.
Absolutely, dude. Madonna on my hill, dude.
Yeah. We kicked Justin out. Who wants to get on, Justin? We're replacing Justin.
Yeah.
We're looking for a team member.
Yeah.
So, anyway, what else is going on?
Dude, all kind of shit, dude. Yeah. It just doesn't ever end, dude.
That it don't. It's hard to keep up with all the bullshit, bro.
Dude, we really could, man. We really could go live a couple of nights a week. And
as we were talking, that's why I was reading out how the Secret Service just, they suspended those 6 agents because of the Trump assassination. Yeah. I'm thinking man, that, I mean, what's ever going to change when that's the consequences for pulling some shit like that?
And you hit the nail on the head too, because you said suspended with pay.
Of course.
During this investigation. And it's like, no, dude, you ought to be fired, maybe even jailed if it was that bad, there he is.
Of course, dude.
Welcome back, Justin. How you doing,
I've regrouped, I've taken care of everything, ready to be out of timeout.
Yeah. You and your fucking welfare camera, man. What are you doing?
Jocelyn, they should.
That's like fucking nationalized health care or whatever. That's how you're.
That's exactly what it would be like. Fucking government internet I have over here.
Yep.
So true. Yeah.
Jocelyn's see she's on the Biden kick.
Yep.
Most gun owners in 2011 didn't have RPGs.
I would like to though.
We should. Cool that would be able to.
How cool would that be to have one behind the door in my bedroom?
Yeah, just hanging out with an RPG. Why not?
Why not?
That's what I've seen. I forget what Democrat Congressman Tucker was going back and forth with Carlson, and he was getting on his ass because this Democratic person was, of course, trying to ban citizens from having guns, wanted more stricter gun laws, and Tucker was like, "So you mean to tell me the people that are guarding you and your family can possess a certain type of firearms that I'm not allowed to protect my family?" So
that was he was that was the what am I looking for, dude? The politician that was fucking Fang, dude. Swalwell.
Yes, Swalwell. Yeah, he was fucking a Chinese spy. Well, yeah. So, and he was telling him, and he asked him straight to his face. So that means you think your life is more important than mine and my family. And he's like, that's ridiculous. 100%. Tucker. That's ridiculous. And it's like, no, that's exactly what you're saying.
No, it's so true. Exactly right, dude.
Yeah, he had no answer for that.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%, dude. Yeah. It was a beautiful fucking interview, actually.
It was. Somebody's supporting the alligator Alcatraz, so
go ahead, D. I'll support it. Yeah, why not?
D says it's rude to point. Sorry. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Just go ahead and subscribe, dude. Yeah, we won't point no more if you subscribe to us, dude. Yeah.
Oh,
give up.
all right. Y'all got anything else worth the fuck to talk about before we get off of here? Nope. Let's wrap it up. We appreciate y'all watching. Yeah, like I said, if you're just now joining, hit that subscribe button. We will be back next week with all those fun-filled adventures that we take y'all on. We appreciate all of y'all.
Let's hear in our comments. Would you like us more than once a week? Let's hear some opinions on y'all. So, but y'all are a great group. Yeah, it's a great group, man. I love it.
Motherfuckers got to show up.
Yeah.
Listen. I got one more comment.
Wait,
we did the outro. I know we did the outro. Jocelyn said,
let's go.
You don't need an RPG to hunt a white-tailed deer, but the Second Amendment is not for fucking white-tailed deer.
But that would be awesome.
It would be a great kill.
Look, you get no meat, dude. Right. But you get no meat, but you might get some horns, dude. That's about it, dude.
That is not why we have the Second Amendment.
Yeah, that is a fallback on the anti-gun people. What they like to go with is that, hunting. That's not what what it was about. You know what
Absolutely.
I mean? That's not what it was about at all.
Yeah, you don't need a 10-round clip and all that bullshit, dude.
Go back to hunting pigs with spears and shit, but that's not what it's for.
Nope.
So true. So,
anyway, that's the outro.
Right. Yep. Let's wrap it up. We appreciate all of y'all checking it out. Really, we love you guys. Even the ones that hate us, we still love y'all. We appreciate it. We'll be back next week. Y'all stay tuned. Be good. BSing with the guys. I am Shane. That is Justin. That is Brad. And we will see y'all next time.
Peace. Later.